Hello friends, Professor A. S. Mochi here, Department of Agriculture Entomology, Wagh College of Agriculture, Nashik. Today we are going to discuss about the pest management in sugarcane and their integrated pest management. Here, these are the different major and minor pests of sugarcane which infest the sugarcane crop in every season. Here, if you see this pest of the sugarcane, it is categorized into the or according to their feeding habits. Here, the first is borers. The name itself indicates that they bore the shoots or the stem of the sugarcane crop. It means that these are all the lepidopteran pests which bore the sugarcane stem or shoot. Then these are the subterranean pests. Subterranean pests means are those pests which attack from the soil and attack on the roots. And the third category is sucking pests. Sucking pests means are those pests which have a piercing and sucking type of mouth parts, and they suck the cell sap from the tender or succulent plant parts. And the last category is non-insect pest. Here the non-insect pest, it is the mites. Then let us see one by one. This is the first, we can say that the borer of the sugarcane crop. Name is early shoot borer, Chilo infuscatellus. It is the lepidopteran pest. It means that they have a 4 different life stages: egg, larva, pupa, and adult. The name itself indicates that the early shoot borer. It means that this pest is attacked in early stage of the crop growth. This is the life cycle of the early shoot borer, having a 4 different life stages. Eggs laying habit is in a cluster or in masses. Then larva, it means that it is a caterpillar, and the caterpillar, it is the damaging stage of this pest. And third life stage is pupa, and then last one is the adult, or we can say that the moth. The egg laying of this pest, it is takes place on the lower surface of the leaves in a masses, and then a pupation of this pest is takes place within the larval tunnels or inside the shoot or stem of the sugarcane. This is the oviposition, pupation, and the damaging stage of this pest. Then now, how this early shoot borer it attacks in the sugarcane crop. This early shoot borer it attack in the early stage of the crop growth. It means that attack 1 to 3 months old crop and cause the dead hurts. What is that? This early shoot borer it makes the hole on the surface of the stem of the sugarcane crop just above the ground level, and make the hole and enter inside the shoots or the stem of the sugarcane crop and feeding inner content of the sugarcane crop. As a result of feeding, in case of severe infestation, the infested shoot or the stem it become wither and dry up, and this symptom is called as dead hurts. And these dead hurts which can be easily pull out in a infested fields. Then also the rotten portion of the straw colors of dead hurts emits an offensive odor. It means that that dead hurts it can be easily pulled out from the soil. That dead hurts is produce offensive odor or smell. We can see the number of holes on the stem just above the ground level. These are the different pictures which shows the feeding damage or feeding symptoms of the early shoot borer larva. This is the larva or the caterpillar of the early shoot borer, and it attack on the in the tender shoots and feeding inside the shoots. In left side picture, this is the dead hurts, and in right side picture, it produces side shoots or production of the side shoots, and the pupation occurs inside the shoot. Then how we can manage this pest in sugarcane crop? In that management practices, before we going towards the management practices, we should know about the economic threshold level of the particular pest. In the early shoot borer, the 15 to 20% of the dead hurts then observes in the infested food. Then we can go for the management practices. In that preventive and curative measures, the trash mulching is important. Due to the mulching, what happen? The caterpillar or the larva of this early shoot borer, they do not make the hole on the that stem. Then earlier think of this is also one of the most important practice to avoid the infestation of the caterpillar. Then a frequent irrigation to reduce their incidence. It means that they maintain the frequency of irrigation. Then use the resistant varieties. There are the different resistant varieties against the early shoot borer. We can use this variety in the preventive measures. Then in case of curative measures, collection and destruction of affected plant parts along with the larvae and the pupae, because here the larvae and the pupae both are present inside the that dead heads or inside that stem or shoot. We can remove that stem or shoot. Then we can use a Trichogramma chilonis. It is one of the egg parasitoids, and these egg parasitoids we can use for 2 times at 10 to 15 days interval. At it attack on the eggs masses of the early shoot borer in the infested fields. Then if you go for the chemical control, the chlorantraniliprole and the fipronil are the recommended chemicals against the early shoot borer. Next borer is top shoot borer. The name itself indicates that top shoot borer. It means that it attack on the top portion of the shoots of the sugarcane. Scircophaga exoptalis. It is the lepidopteran pest. Hence, they have a 4 different life stages. In that, here you can see the egg, larva, pupa, and adult are the different different life stages of the top shoot borer. The egg laying also takes place in a cluster. Then the egg laying of the pest takes place on the lower surface of the leaves or on the top leaves, hence known as a top shoot borer. And then the pupation takes place inside the larval tunnel with an exit hole constructed by the caterpillar. Then how these pest is actually damaged in the sugarcane field. Here the caterpillar is the damaging stage. The name indicates that the top shoot borer. This pest is attacked on the crop in later stage, and the infestation occurs till harvesting. Then in firstly, before this pest is attack on the stem or shoot, after hatching from the eggs, the first or early installed larva, it make a short holes. It makes, or it we can say that they make a small hole or irregular hole on the leaf blade or the surface of the leaves in a parallel rows. That hole is called a short hole appearance, and this symptom this is the characteristic symptoms produced due to the feeding of the caterpillar of the top shoot borer. In case of top shoot borer, it means that at initial stage the early installed larva feed on the leaves and make irregular holes in a we can say that the parallel rows or short hole appearance. This in first picture, this is the short hole appearance. Then after that it attack on the shoots and it feeding inner content of the shoots, and due to this feeding the side shoots it appearance from the infested canes, and this it look like a bunchy top appearance, and this is also the one of the characteristic symptoms of this pest. Then what happened due to the feeding in central picture, you can see in central picture what happened here. The reddening of the midrib of the leaves is due to the feeding of the early installed larva of this pest. Then larva tunnels through the midrib and moves toward the central leaf holes. Upon reaching, it bores into the central leaf spindle, then it enters into the central shoots and bore downward from the top. This is the feeding habit of this caterpillar in the sugarcane. Here we can see the dead heads at the later stage, and the further dead heads leads to producing the side shoots on the upper most nodal region, giving the bunchy top appearance. This is the characteristic symptoms. And then the ETL level of this pest is 15 to 20% dead heads is observed in infested fields. Then we can go for the management practices. In preventive control, terminate the gramineous weeds in and around the fields, because here the gramineous weeds is act as an alternate host for the top shoot borer. Then we can use a resistant varieties. Then in case of curative control, collection and destruction of egg masses and the bunchy top appearance or dead heads appearance in the field. And then Trichogramma japonicum, it is also the one of the egg parasitoids effective against the top shoot borer. Then foliar application of the chemicals like a chlorantraniliprole, or also the soil application with a chlorantraniliprole. It is the effective chemical against the top shoot borer. Then Third borer is internode borer. Sacrifagus indicus. Internode borer. It is a lepidopteran pest. Hence, have a four different life stages: egg, larva, pupa, and adult. If you see the life cycle, here the egg laying of the internode borer is takes place in between the leaf sheath and the stem in the cluster. And then pupation also takes place inside the larval tunnel or inside the stem or shoot. And then the name itself indicates that internode borer. It means that here the caterpillar makes the number of holes on the internode of the sugarcane or the cane and enter into the shoots, and at an initial stage internode borer at an initial stage act as a early shoot borer. It means that it feeding inner content of the shoots and produce a dead hearts. Then after it attack in the on the nodal region and enter into the shoots, and it make a hole on the surface of that nodal region and excreta around the that holes. It is the one of the characteristic symptoms. Then in case of severe infestation as a result of feeding, the reddening and hardening of the cane is occurs. It means that reddening means that the internal tissue becomes the red and the cane become a hard, and this is the characteristic symptoms due to the feeding of the caterpillar of the internode borer. This is the initial larva feeds on the green tissue of leaf by scraping. Later, it bore into the internode at the nodal region and feed within the content of the internodes. And this is the infested canes due to the feeding. Entry hole plug with excreta. Internode length gets reduced and tissue inside the cane turns the red, means reddening appearance. Then for the management practices, in case of preventive control, avoid the excessive use of nitrogen fertilizer is effective preventive practice. Then remove water shoots periodically. Then select the variety which do not produce more number of water shoots. Then use the resistant varieties. Then in case of curative control, periodical collection and destruction of the egg masses and affected plants as well. Then detressing is also one of the most important practice. What happens due to the detressing, the egg laying is avoided. Then tie the canes into the clump. Then Trichogramma chelonis, it is one of the egg parasitoids, is effective against the internode borer. Then chlorantraniliprole, it is one of the effective chemical against the all the borers of the sugar canes. The last borer is root borers. The name itself indicates that it attack on the roots, but it here from it this pest, it is a subterranean pest, hence it attack on or attack from the soils. It is a lepidopteran pest. Here it is a lepidopteran pest, hence the larva infest the root or the caterpillar or the infest the root or root stalk. After the hatching from the here egg laying is takes place in the soil or on the ground or in on the stem. After that hatching from the eggs, here the caterpillar attack on the roots, and what happened? The major symptom is that it produces dead hearts. But the difference between the dead hearts produced by the root borer and the dead hearts produced by the early shoot borer is that the dead hearts produced due to the feeding of the root borer, the dead hearts it can or do not easily pull out. As like in early shoot borer infestation, the dead hearts it is easily pull out. The dead hearts at early stage, but dead hearts do not comes out easily when they pull out. At later stage, outer leaves become the yellow with the stunted growth. And then root grub. The next and most important pest is root grub, also called as white grub. There are the different species of the root grub or the white grub is attack on the different crop plant, because the white grub it is the polyphagous pest. Here the Holotricha serrata and Holotricha consanguinea are the two important major species which infest the sugarcane crop. In case of root grub, this root grub complete only one life cycle in 1 year. Hence, we can say that this insect is called as a Winnie-Holstein insects. Here, it is a coleopteran pest. Hence, there are the 4 different life stages: egg, larva, pupa, and adult. But the larva of the coleopteran insect called as grub, hence known as a root grub. Here, the larval instar and the pupa, larval instar and the the larval host and the adult host are the both are different. It means that the larva of this root grub is attack on the different plants, and the adult of this pest is attack on the different plants. Here, the larval instar are the different crop plants, but the adult host are the neem, bale, bear, babur, shevga, tamarind are the different tree or host tree of the this beetle. What happened after the first monsoon or first shower of the monsoon? The beetle, this adult beetle, it is hibernate into the soil which is emerge out of that pre-monsoon showering, and after that they attack on the this adult host tree which is present on the field burns. At the evening condition, the male female mating is takes place. Here the female beetle is settle down into the soil and lay their eggs up to the 7 to 10 centimeter in soil. Then after the hatching from the eggs, the grubs is emerge out, and these grub, it is a damaging stage of this pest, and the grubs it attack on the roots of the crop or roots of the sugarcane. What happened due to the continuous feeding of the roots and rootlets, the plant it can be easily pulled out from the soils. This is the characteristic symptom. Then the pupation is also occurs in a soil. Then after pupation, the adult beetle is hibernating into the soil up to the next year. It means that all the life cycle of this pest is present in soil, and there is even a single life cycle per year. Here the larva of this, the first or early install larva of this grub, it is attack on the rotten FIM or rotten manures present in the soil. Then after later install larva attack on the roots and rootlets. The larva, it is a C shape. This is the important characteristic of this larva. This is the symptoms of damage which produce due to the infestation of the or the feeding of the grub into the on the roots of this sugarcane crop. This is the grub feeds on the roots which produce which roots and rootlets, and it as a result the infested canes it become easily full out. This is the patchy stands in the ratoon crop is also observed due to the severe infestation of this pest. Then for the management practices in case of preventive control, here the first major practice is flooding, because due to the flooding there are the 4 life stages which are present in the soil. Due to the flooding, it creates an anaerobic condition that helps to reduce the population of the white grub. Then a collection of destruction of adult from their host at the evening time. Then set up a light trap to collect the adult beetle. Whatever at the evening time, we can set up the one light trap in the field that adult beetle which is the nocturnal which attract towards that light trap, and we can collect the different beetles and we can kill in a kerosene water. Second most important practice is that there are the different adult host trees. We can shaking of that adult host trees and collect the beetle, and that beetle we can kill in a kerosene water. Then in case of curative measures, nowadays the rotavator is mostly used for interculture operation. This is effective to kill the different life stages. And then you can use a metarrhizum and sopli. Metarrhizum and sopli, it is the entomopathogenic fungus, and this entomopathogenic fungus it is effective against the all the coleopteran grubs. It is mixed with FIM and vermicompost into the soil and we can apply. Then drenching of the chlorophyrifos is also effective. Then application of phorate, carbofuran or carbosulfan, or we can say that the quinolphos in the granular formation. With the help of the soil application, we can kill the different life stages present in the soils. The next plant is sugarcane leafhopper, also called as sugarcane pyrilla. Scientific name is Pyrilla purpusula, and it is the most important sucking pest of the sugar cane. Here you can see in this picture it is a sucking pest, hence they have a 3 different life stages: egg, nymphs and adult. Here the egg laying takes place. Here you can see the under the surface of the leaves and covered with a white filamentous waxy material. Then the nymphs, here the newly hatched nymphs like a milky white in color and feather like process is covered by the wax. Then adult are the straw color with a with a wing folded like a rope on the back. These are the different 3 different life stages which have a different character or characteristics. It is a sucking phase, hence the the damaging stages are the both nymphs and adult. Here the both nymphs and adult are the suck the cell sap from the lower surface of the leaves and lower surface of the leaves. What happen in case of severe infestation? As a result of feeding, the plant lose their turgidity or vitality, and plant become wither and dry up. Instead of the feeding or while feeding, this pest is also excrete a honeydew-like substance or sugary material that develop the black sooty fungus on the plant parts, and this black sooty fungus covers all the infested plant parts, and it become blackish in appearance, and it directly affect on the photosynthetic rate, and yield is indirectly reduced. And here this pest is also affect on the we can say that the sucrose percentage or the quality of the juice. This is the Nimsan adult, and which is congregated on the lower surface of the leaves and suck the cell sap. This is the adult. Initially, leaves become yellow and later dry up. Under severe infestation, plant appear blighted and the sickly appearance. For the management practices of this pest, we can conserve the here we can use the one nimble parasitoids, Lepidopteran parasitoids, that of parasitoids called as a nimble parasitoids called as a Epiricania melanoluca. It is mostly used against the sugarcane pyrilla. Then in case of botanical control, 5% neem seed kernel extract and the other direction is effective. Then in case of chemical control, the imidacloprid and the clothianidin, it is mostly use of chemicals against the sugarcane pyrilla in the sugarcane field. The next sucking pest is woolly aphid or sugarcane woolly aphid, Ceratophycon linearia. Here the aphid, it is reproduced by means of parthenogenetically. It means that instead of the egg laying, the female aphid it is directly gives birth to the young ones, and here the both nymphs and adult are the damaging stages. Here if you see the nature of damage of this pest, here this is the egg nymphs and adult. Here if you see, the wingless females are produced parthenogenetically, and viviparous reproduction is also occurs. Then if you see the nature of damage of this pest, the both nymphs and adult, it is congregated on the lower surface of the leaves, and with a white chalky powder coating on the ground levels and leaves is also occurs, because this pest, the color of this pest is look like a chalky appearance or look like a chalk or white in colors. Hence white chalk powder coating on the ground and leaves is occurs. Here both nymphs and adults suck the cells up from the tender plants or leaves, and as a result the plant lose their vitality or turgidity. Then while feeding, this species also excrete a honeydew-like substance, or we can say that the honeydew-like substance or sugary material that develop the black sooty fungus on the plant part, which affect on the photosynthetic rate and reduce the yield indirectly. Then this is the aphids, nymphs and woolly aphids, which is found in a colonies on the lower surface of the leaves and suck the cell sap. This is the infestation of the sugarcane woolly aphids, which is present in the infested fields. Then how we can manage this pest, or how we can control the sugarcane woolly aphid in case of sugarcane? In case of preventive control, select the pest free sites for planting. Then adopt a pair or double row planting or wider spacing. Avoid excessive use of nitrogenous fertilizers, and we can use the resistant varieties. Then in case of curative measures, collect the affected leaves along with aphids and destroy it. Then here against the sugarcane woolly aphid, there are some of the biocontrol agent is mostly used. The first one is the Difa apidihora, then Micromos egorotus, and then we can hoverfly. And these are the three different predators. It is effective against the sugarcane woolly aphids. Then also we can spray the crop with Verticillium lacani or Lacanicillium lacani. It is the entomopathogenic fungus effective against the sugarcane woolly aphid. Then in case of botanical insecticide, azadirachtin is mostly used, and in case of chemical control, acephate and thiamethoxam is mostly used. Next one is the mealybug, Saccharococcus sacchari. It is also the sucking pest. Here the mealybugs, it's sucking pest. Hence, the egg, nymphs, and adult are the different life stages. Here the both nymphs and adult are the damaging stages. What happen? Here the both nymphs and adult found in the colonies at the nodal region with the leaf sheath and suck the sap from the canes, leading to the yellowing of the leaves, and plant lose their or lose its vigor or vitality. How we can control the mealybug in this sugarcane? Avoid ratoon cropping in areas where the pest regularly occurs. Then select the pest presets for planting. Then in case of curative measures, the mostly used biocontrol agent is the Cryptolemus montrezeri, name is Australian ladybird beetle. At the rate of 2000 beetle per acre, it is effective. And if you go for the chemical control, the acipate, buprofezin and propanofos are the effective chemical against the sugarcane mealybug or all the species of the mealybug. Then next one is the scale insect, Melanopsis glomerata. And it's also the sucking pest. Hence, the nymphs, adult, and the eggs are the two different life stages. And here, the damaging stages are the nymphs and adult. Whatever, both nymphs and adults, especially female adult, attached to the canes look like an incrustation, suck the sap and the devitalization of the canes. As a result of feeding, the shriveling and the stunting of the canes and the reduce the germinations, inhibition of the cane growth, and also the reduction in the quality of the juice and the yield, and also the loss in the jaggery production are the different symptoms of damage produced due to the feeding of the scale insects. And these are the scale insect or female scale insect and nymphs which are congregated on the canes and it also affect the juice quality. How we can manage this scale insect in sugarcane? Select the pest presets. For to avoid the infestation of all the sucking pests in case of sugarcane, we can use a pest free sets. Then before planting, treat the sets with a hot water, or we can also use a chlorpyrifos chemicals. Then in case of curative measure, detrashing and the burn the detrash material. Then stripping of the canes leaves may be also the minimize the damage. Then neem oil as a directin and also the NSK we can use in a botanical control. Then acipate, buprofezin and propanofos are the effective chemicals against the scale insect. Next is termites. Here the termites, there are the two species, Odontotermes obesus and Microtermes obesi. And the termite, it is a social insect, hence they have a four different caste: king, queen, soldier and workers. The workers is the damaging stage of the termites. Here this is the eggs, workers and the soldiers. Here the egg laying of these termites is occurs in the soil. After the hatching from the eggs, the larvae is emerge out, and after the larval instar, there the four adults are formed. King, queen, soldier and workers. And worker is attack on the different. Worker is attack on the crop or sugarcane crop. How the worker is attacked? Due to the attack of the worker, poor germination of the seeds occurs. Then gappy appearance in the seedling stages also occurs. The characteristic semicircular feeding marks on the leaves in the standing crop, it is we can see in the infested field due to the termites feeding. The entire shoots dries up and the can become pull out easily. Then sets hollow inside and may be filled with the soil. This is the characteristic symptoms of the feeding of the termites. Then can collapse if disturb the rain filled with the mud, or we can say that the soil. These are the different symptoms produced by the feeding of the termites. Then next one is sugarcane white fly. It is also the sucking pest. Nymphs and adult are the damaging stages. Both nymphs and adult, which is congregated on the lower surface of the leaves and suck the cells from the lower surface of the leaves. As a result of feeding, the plant lose their vitality and turgidity. It affect the quality of juice and also the develop the black sooty mold fungus on the plant parts, which affect on the photosynthetic rate. These are the different of pests which infest the sugarcane crop. Now how we can manage these pests with the help of IPM techniques. Here in case of IPM techniques, we can use the cultural methods. First practice is cultural methods. In that cultural methods, removal of stubbles and debris of the previous crops, deep summer plowing, interculture and hand weeding, timely irrigation, proper crop rotation with non-host crop, and the collection and destruction of adult in case of white grub are the cultural practices. Then these are the different resistant varieties we can use against the against the different pests in a sugarcane. Then earthing a practice to avoid the early shoot borer infestation. Always use well rotten FOM for to avoid the termite and root grub damage. Then avoid ultimately high nitrogenous fertilizers. Then irrigation at closer intervals for managing the early shoot borer. Then detrashing practice also helps to avoid the infestation of sugarcane woolly aphids and the stalk borer. Then intercropping with onion and garlic and coriander to avoid the infestation of early shoot borer. Then removal of water shoots to destroy the scale insects. Then Practice deep harvesting to destroy the stubbles. And then take a green burning, which will be helps to conserve the moisture, predators, and parasites. And then also minimize the growth of the weed. Then trash mulching is effective against the early shoot borer. Dig out the termitoria and destroy the queen to avoid the termite infestation. Pair row system for some of the sucking pest. Then wrapping of the canes all along the rows for woolly aphids. Then propping the canes to prevent the lodging to reduce the damage by stalks, borer, and rodents. Then in case of physical control, we can use a fumigation techniques to kill the queen inside the termitoria or mound. We can find out the termitoria and mound in our field. In that termitoria and mound, we can fumigate with the help of carbon disulfides or chloroform, or we can say that the ethyl bromide or methyl bromide we can use to destroy the queen in that termitoria. Then set up the light trap to attract the nocturnal insects. Then collection and destruction of root grub adults by shaking the host trees at the evening condition. In case of mechanical control, we can use a different traps like a yellow sticky trap for sucking pest, then a light trap for nocturnal insect, and pheromone trap for the lepidopteran insects. These are the different recommended practices of mechanical practices to avoid the infestation of different pests. Then in case of biological control, we can mostly use a trichogramma species effective against the egg parasitoids effective against the lepidopteran pests. Then sugarcane pyrilla, Ipericaria melanica, it is effective. And for the sugarcane woolly aphids, the Diffa apidivora, Macromus egorotus, and the hoverfly is effective. For the augmentation practices, we can use there are different natural enemies against the different pests. Then for sugarcane pyrilla, we can use the Ipericaria melanica. Then for sugarcane woolly aphid, Diffa apidivora, it is effective. Then these are different chemicals or recommended chemicals against the different pests in sugarcane we can use, like a chlorantraniliprole, then fipronil, monocrotophos, like that. Then for white grub, fipronil; for top shoot borer, chlorantraniliprole; for pyrilla, monocrotophos, dichlorophos, chloropyrifos. These are the different recommended chemicals. Thank you.